3, 2, 1, ready, start. It was also submitted that even though Section 27 of the Act of 2007 bars the jurisdiction of the civil courts, but that is to be read in context with the provisions of the Act of 2007, that is to say, only such matters which are squarely covered and governed by the Act of 2007, to that extent, the jurisdiction of the civil courts would be barred and not as a whole stop. This also is indicative of the fact that the tribunal and the appellate authority constituted under the Act are tribunals of limited jurisdiction which exercises powers within the framework of the Act of 2007 and the rules of 2014 and not beyond it. Stop. Para. Having noticed the 4 questions referred to this court, it would reveal that first 2 questions relate to Chapter 2 of the Act of 2007, hence, it will be appropriate to take them for consideration together. Question number 1 and 2, for the sake of convenience, the question number 1 and 2 are being reproduced hereinafter. Para. Question number 1. What is the true scope and powers of the maintenance tribunal constituted under Section 7 of the Act of 2007, which is contained in Chapter 2 of the Act of 2007, and whether the tribunal, in exercise of its power in context with Section 7, 8 and 9 of the Act of 2007, would be empowered to pass an order of eviction while deciding an application preferred before it in terms of Section 5 of the Act of 2007. Stop. Question number 2. What would be the true scope and power of the district magistrate who exercises power as an appellate tribunal in terms of Section 15 and 16 of the Act of 2016, and whether, in exercise of such powers, the appellate tribunal can pass an order of eviction? Stop. In order to answer the aforesaid questions, it will be of prime importance to first examine the schemes of the Act of 2007 and the rules of 2014 to get a clear concept and picture to enable the court to reach to a conclusive answer to the questions referred to it. Stop. Para. To begin with, the statements, objects and reasons of the Act of 2007 are being reproduced hereinafter. Stop. Para. Statement of objects and reasons. Traditional norms and values of the Indian society let stress on providing care for the elderly. Stop. However, due to withering of the joint family system, a large number of elderly are not being looked after by their family. Stop. Consequently, many older persons, particularly widowed women are now forced to spend their twilight years all alone and are exposed to emotional neglect and to lack of physical and financial support. Stop. This clearly reveals that aging has become a major social challenge and there is a need to give more attention to the care and protection for the older persons. Stop. Though the parents can claim maintenance under the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, the procedure is both time-consuming as well as expensive. Stop. Hence, there is a need to have simple, inexpensive and speedy provisions to claim maintenance for parents. Stop. The bill proposes to cast an obligation on the persons who inherit the property of children or their aged relatives to maintain such aged relatives and also proposes to make provisions for setting up old age homes for providing maintenance to the indigent older persons. Top para. The bill further proposes to provide better medical facilities to the senior citizens and provisions for protection of their life and property. Stop. The bill therefore, proposes to provide for appropriate mechanism to be set up to provide need-based maintenance to the parents and senior citizens, providing better medical facilities to senior citizens, for institutionalization of a suitable mechanism for protection of life and property of older persons, setting up of old age homes in every district. Stop para. The bill seeks to achieve the above objectives. Stop. Noticing the objects and regions of the Act, it reveals that the Act was promulgated to cast an obligation on the children, such persons who would inherit the property of their parent, senior citizen, or their relatives to ensure that such parent, senior citizen, relatives are maintained and they are not neglected in their twilight years. Stop. The Act also envisages recognition by the state of a larger responsibility of ensuring that the older populace is not left destitute and adequate measures are taken inter alia to set up old age homes and to provide for maintenance and upkeep of it for the benefit of indigent elderly persons in an institutionalized manner. Stop. The Act of 2007 also envisions creation of an environment for providing better medical facilities to the senior citizens as well as for the protection of their life and liberty. Stop. It will now be appropriate to take a bird's eye view of the structure of the Act of 2007. Stop. The Act of 2007 would reveal that it has been engrafted in 7 chapters.